Hello, Santa Clara Unified Community. This is Jody Muirhead, your board president, and I'm here this evening to talk about our June 27th board meeting coming up this week. And there's a number of things on there that I want to talk to you about. First, I want to say, if you want to let me know about anything or ask a question, reach out, whatever, you can always reach me at jmuirhead@scusd.net by email, or I'm on Facebook and Twitter, so you can check me out there under Jody Muirhead. And I'm always open to hearing what people are concerned about or have questions about, and we'll try and get you answers to. So that is always available to you. Or you can email all of the board and the superintendent by emailing the email address boardmembers@scusd.net, and then that will automatically get to all of us. So please reach out and let us know what you're thinking. There's been a lot going on with COVID. Omicron really hit us hard in the schools after the winter holidays. So I know that's been tough. There's been a lot of cases, a lot of kids and staff members turning up positive and having to stay home and recover. So thank you everyone for your patience in checking on your kids and getting them vaccinated and testing them, signing up for the testing that we're doing at school, or testing them at home if you're not doing that, but testing them regularly is super important to make sure that we're not having asymptomatic positive cases at school and spreading it to others. So thank you everyone for working through that. It's been hard on the district. It's been a lot of work, and the rules keep changing, so that doesn't make it any easier. The CDC and the state public health and the county public health have been revising the way we do things several times over the past few weeks, and we've been reacting and responding and updating our practices about how we notify people and how we lengths of time that you need to be out if you have a positive case or a close contact. All those things have been changing lately, so thanks for keeping up with all that and following along and being patient with our staff as they work really hard to make sure everyone stays safe. Okay, so I am gonna share my screen now with our board docs page. That's our system for our agendas. And as I mentioned, we have a board meeting coming up on Thursday, the 27th, starting at 4:30. We'll be in person, so you can either come in person to our boardroom at the district office, or you can join the webinar, and especially if you want to make public comment, you have to be on the webinar or in person, or you can follow along on the YouTube live stream, and those links are all there, along with how to make email comments and the ways that you can interact during the board meeting. So that is all there on the start of our agenda. So there's just actually a few things that I really want to highlight in this meeting. There's a lot of things on there, but there's a few that I especially want to highlight. The first one is our budget planning for next year. So budget planning is like an ongoing process. We're always getting updates on how our budget's doing compared to actuals, and what's coming up and changes that are being seen, that sort of thing. So this will be a big meeting. We're going to spend about 90 minutes on it and talk about our our enrollment changes. So our enrollment's been dropping. So we'll get more information about that, what it looks like. And there's been changes in the revenue that we're getting. Property taxes are not going up as high as like income taxes for the state, and our budget is based on property taxes mostly. So there's an attachment here for this item that has the PowerPoint that will be presented. So there's a lot of information in there, a lot of details and numbers. So if you want more details ahead of time, you can take a look at this attachment and see what's on the mind of our finance people. It talks a little bit about the state budget and then our budget and our enrollment, and they'll go over all that, plus some information the board's been asking about district administration positions. So that'll be as part of this presentation as well, because that all figures in. Our budget is about 80% or more has to do with staff district-wide. So that's teachers and administrators and our classified staff, everyone. A big chunk of our budget goes to personnel. So if we're having difficulties with our budget, then we just have to react to that early and quickly and see what we need to do. Okay, so that's a big item on our agenda for this week, our budget planning. Then the next one I want to highlight is our COVID update report. So I've got about just under an hour, so about 50 minutes set aside for that. And we'll get an update from the superintendent on all the changes that have been going on and how it's going, that sort of thing. Maybe some information about our new volunteer program, so that people can volunteer in our schools to help out staff with areas that they need help with. It's not it's not teaching. It's not something that you need a credential for. It's like maybe they just need help making photocopies, or wiping down tables at the end of a day, or things like that. But it's really important stuff that's not getting done because our staff are so busy with doing other things. So there's work to be done at all of our schools, and we could use the help. So I hope you'll check that out. It was announced, I think last week. And so you can get more information about that in your email or on the website about that program. Okay, so that's our COVID update report. And then the next one that I wanted to highlight, come on down here, is this one. So under action items business, there's an item to approve an agreement with HY Architects for a district-wide facility conditions assessment and long-range master plan. And we haven't done a complete facilities assessment in quite a while. I know before we did Measure BB, we were looking at a lot of our facilities and trying to figure out what the status, what needed to be fixed up or what kind of improvements we wanted to make. That's when we decided to put in new playgrounds and update our security fences at our elementary schools, things like that. Plus the new schools that we built. So there was a lot that went into Measure BB, and that was based on some things that we saw with our facilities. So now it's time to look at all of our sites again and figure out, what the usable life is and what are some updates that we might want to do that doesn't have anything to do with funding, right? If we identify something as being an issue, then we have to figure out the funding for it. And so that would be a whole nother process, but we won't know what we need to do until we know what we need to do. So we're are looking to hire these architects to do this. And then they'll go out to the schools and all of our sites and take a really good look at them. They'll talk to the principal and other people, staff members and parents at each site to figure out, what might be needed or changed or updated, get more information. And then they'll, look at the plans and they'll talk to more people, and they'll do a really thorough job because the plan is for this not to be ready until the end of 2023. So they're going to take almost a full 2 years, do all of our sites, except for the places where we've already hired architects to do some site plans. So we've already got the master plan process for Peterson, Laurelwood, Bracker, Briarwood, Scott Lane, and Westwood. So those are already underway. So these architects for this one will just incorporate the outcomes from those master plans into the district-wide master plan. So those are already going on because we're doing some big projects as part of Measure BB in those at those particular schools. Okay, so that is coming up, and then there was another one. Oh, here, the Cabrillo Middle School facilities. So at our last few meetings, we've heard some comments, a lot of public comment about the Cabrillo facilities not being sufficient and equivalent to our other middle schools, Cabrillo Middle School, especially around the music room and the music facilities. So compared to Bookser and Peterson, they're really lacking. And so we're trying to figure out what are some options there. So there's an attachment here that is the PowerPoint that'll go through both some short-term options and some long-term options. The short-term options, there are also the principals put together a committee to dive into that more. But the longer-term options is something that the board can look at. Do we need another building, or do we need to just move things around, or do we need to add another portable, or what have you? Again, there's no funding for it. So we have to figure out the funding for whatever we end up doing. But we need to look at if there's work that we want to get done to give them more and better facilities there. So we'll have a discussion at the meeting just about what are some of the options, and then we can go from there. So that those are the big things. Then on this agenda, there's always some smaller things, and you can look through the agenda and see all those. But those are kind of the big parts of the picture of what we're going to be talking about on Thursday. Again, you can join the webinar so you can give us public comment. You could come in person if you like for part or all of the meeting, or you can watch the live stream. It's out there. If you want to send us comments, you can do that through the public comment link, or anytime you can send comments to board members at scosd.net, or you can email me directly at jmuirhead@scosd.net, or I'm on Facebook and Twitter. So thanks so much for everyone for watching all the way through, and I hope to see you soon. Please stay safe and healthy. Okay.